Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have some interesting news coming out of the League of Legends esports world. Kind of the LCS, kind of the LEC, I don't really know. But it is some drama involving Hans Sama, who, usually doesn't really seem to get involved into too much of this stuff. But today he has himself in some somewhat serious news. This actually comes from Jacob Wolf, which is interesting enough because obviously he's not too big in the kind of day-to-day reporting world anymore. But usually when we are getting a story or a scoop from him, it's a pretty interesting one. It's a pretty big one. And he says this, Scoop, an esports agency is suing Hans Sama in French court. It alleges he breached his representation agreement by signing with a competitor and did not pay commissions for a part of his Rogue and all of his Team Liquid deal. Obviously, again, these are some very, very big accusations, and these things could definitely be a big distraction. They could be a big stressor. They could be pretty annoying to deal with, and it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And also, when things like this go to court, we could potentially see how these agreements and how these things operate change going forward as well. We could see Riot step in and have to deal with some stuff, or we could just see the contracts being altered altogether going forward. Who knows for sure? On the story in general, of course, we always get, a Rich tweet. He's got to chime in. He says, happy to see this. Some players still need to understand that contracts matter, and you can't just run around breaking legal promises like you're the center of the universe. Now, hey, the caveat here is, of course, Rich, has an esports agency. He's the director at the Black Lodge GG, which is a premium esports and media agency. So, take that with a grain of salt. We also had Aka chiming in here as well. Just like agents need to stop saying they represent players or organizations when in fact they actually don't. Am I right? They aren't the center of the universe either. So there's definitely, a lot of shady stuff happening on both sides. I would absolutely believe that. Like always, there's three sides to every story. It seems like in this lawsuit, there's definitely one side of the story being told. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But here is Jacob Wolf's report. He says, French esports agency Athletes Representation and Consulting, ARC, is suing Hans Sama for alleged breach of contract by signing with a competitor and not paying commissions during his existing representation agreement. The dispute is linked to Hans Sama's move from Rogue to Team Liquid in November of 2021. Discussions which began with ARC but were finalized by a competing agency, Proxy. The complaint also alleges that Hans Sama did not pay a portion of his commissions during his time with Rogue in 2021, a deal which ARC also negotiated. So, it seemed to me there, hey, they negotiated this deal with Rogue in 2021. If Hans Sama actually didn't pay it, hey, he owes them some money. He's got to pay up. Now, it gets a little dicier, a little hairier when you get into the Team Liquid stuff for 2022. ARC previously represented Hans Sama in an agency agreement that was set to terminate on December 31st of 2021 unless mutually terminated by both parties. That agreement also included a one-year auto-renewal for the 2022 season unless Hans Sama or the agency notified the other of their intent to terminate at the end of 2021. Under that agreement, ARC was entitled to a 5% commission of any of Hans Sama's team's deal signed prior to the end of 2021. You can see where this is going. He gets to the new agency. They sign a new deal for 2022, but technically it was signed in 2021, so they also want a cut of his, Team Liquid deal of 2022, even the one that they didn't maybe they started negotiating it but didn't finish negotiating it. But since it was signed in the calendar year of 2021, they want a piece of it. Who knows? It starts to get into a big gray area. And it's still, we don't know the facts just yet. This thing is going to go to court. We're going to figure it all out, hopefully. But again, this is just their telling of the story. It does seem like, because we haven't got any comments from Hans Sama or his agency or his representation or whatever. Toward the end of the 2021 season, ARC spoke to Hans Sama's then Team Rogue about selling him to North America prior to his contract ending. At the conclusion of 2022, Rogue and ARC both met with Cloud9, which was willing to pay the buyout and negotiate a new salary for Hans Sama. So, kind of interesting as well. We almost got C9 Hans Sama. That does seem to be the player that Vulcan wanted to play with at Cloud9. Vulcan was pretty much like, hey, I don't want to play with Sven anymore. I want you guys to go get X AD carry, which we never really heard the name of. Apparently it was Hans Sama, and that's what could have kept Vulcan at Cloud9. For whatever reason, hey, that didn't work out. They go with Sven. Vulcan leaves. They end up with Berserker, and the rest is history. ARC also met with Team Liquid, which was interested in Hans Sama as well. While ARC began discussions with TL, Proxy ultimately negotiated the new deal, despite Liv's existing contract with ARC to exclusively represent him. Given Hans Sama's desire to move to Liquid instead of C9, Rogue acquiesced and accepted a lower buyout from TL than what C9 offered. ARC founder declined to comment on the specifics of the dispute with Hansama, but he and his legal counsel provided comment to them confirming that the lawsuit has been filed. Proxy declined to comment, and Hansama has declined to comment. We have been asked about a dispute between our agency, ARC, and Hansama. We deeply regret the situation, which is unprecedented in the life of our agency, but we must confirm that we have a dispute with Hansama about the conditions under which our collaboration ceased. As we were unable to reach an amicable agreement with Hansama, we were forced to bring the matter before a civil court for an independent third party to assess the situation. It is nothing personal, and we trust that Hansama feels the same way. As the case is ongoing, we do not intend to communicate further to preserve Stephen or ARC's image. So, hey, I mean, we'll have to see how this one goes down. Again, I hope this isn't too much of a distraction for Hansama going forward in the future. Obviously, he has a big season to get ready for with G2, where he really needs to bounce back from what was overall a pretty lackluster 2022. Again, I'm going to be very, very curious to see what the case being made by Hansama and his agency are going to be. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if this is going to affect anything going forward for any agencies, contracts, anything like that. Again, from this perspective, does it sound very, very bad for Hansama? And like it's pretty black and white. Hey, this is our agreement. You know, you broke the agreement. You owe some money. Yeah, it does sound like that. But does that mean that further information or further facts could come out that maybe change the situation a little bit or leave it in some gray area or even in the side of Hansama? Yeah, it's very possible as well. We'll have to wait and see. Pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Peace.